In 2003, the largest blackout in North American history plunged 55 million people into darkness across 8 states and Canada. It lasted 2 days. And some of the people who died in those 2 days were not killed by the dark. They were killed by the very things they believed would keep them safe. Here is the terrifying part. Most of what you think you know about survival is wrong. Number 16 on this list is repeated in classrooms across America, and it could freeze your child to death in under an hour. Number 4 is preached by every survival channel online, and doctors say it will kill you faster than doing nothing at all. These 25 myths sound like common sense. That is exactly why they are so dangerous. Hit that subscribe button because knowing the difference could save your family. Let us count down. Number 25. Moss always grows on the north side of trees. Every scout troop in America teaches this one. Lost in the woods? Find the moss. Find north. Walk out alive. It sounds like ancient wisdom passed down from woodsmen who never carried a compass. And in a real emergency, it will walk you in a circle until you collapse. Moss does not care about north. Moss grows wherever there is moisture and shade, which means it grows on whatever side of the tree stays dampest. In a dense forest, that could be any direction. On a north-facing slope, it might blanket the entire trunk. Rangers who run search and rescue will tell you they have pulled people out of the backcountry who walked for miles in the wrong direction, dead certain they were heading home because the moss told them so. The truth is simpler and harder. If you do not have a compass and you do not know the terrain, the moss is not a map. It is a coin flip dressed up as knowledge. Number 24, when something is chasing you, you can outrun it. When the grid goes down and people get desperate, the fantasy kicks in. A dog, a stranger, a threat, and you picture yourself sprinting to safety like an action hero. Here is what actually happens. Adrenaline floods your body, your fine motor control vanishes, your vision tunnels, and you make catastrophic decisions at a dead run. You do not outrun a dog. The average person tops out around 15 miles per hour for a few seconds. A loose dog does 30 miles per hour. You do not outrun panic either. The people who survive dangerous encounters almost never win by being faster. They win by being calmer. They put a barrier between themselves and the threat. A locked door, a fence, a parked car. They de-escalate. They back away slowly. They do not turn their spine to something with teeth. Running triggers a chase instinct in animals and in people. The myth says speed saves you. The truth is that thinking saves you, and running is what you do when you have stopped thinking. Number 23, you can strain dirty water through a cloth and drink it safely. This one gets people killed in slow motion. The scene looks so reasonable. Murky water, a clean bandana, you pour it through, the water comes out clearer and you drink. And 3 days later, you are doubled over with cramps, vomiting, losing fluids faster than you can replace them, in a situation where a hospital may be hours away or gone entirely. A cloth removes what you can see: mud, leaves, floating debris. It does absolutely nothing to the things that actually hurt you. Giardia, Cryptosporidium, E. coli, and a dozen other pathogens are microscopic. They pass through cotton like it is not even there. Clear water is not clean water. That is the lie your eyes tell you. To make water safe, you need to boil it, run it through a proper filter rated in microns, or treat it chemically and wait. A bandana is a first step to remove sediment before treatment, never the treatment itself. In a grid-down world, waterborne illness is not an inconvenience. It is one of the fastest ways a healthy person becomes a dying one. Number 22. If you are stranded in the desert, cut open a cactus for water. Hollywood taught America this one. The hero, lips cracked, slices into a fat green cactus, and clear life-saving water pours out. It is one of the most dangerous images ever put on a screen. Most cacti do not hold drinkable water. They hold a bitter alkaline fluid loaded with acids and alkaloids that your body treats as poison. The barrel cactus, the one people are most likely to hack into, will make you vomit and give you diarrhea. And in the desert, vomiting and diarrhea are a death sentence. You lose more water than you ever gained, and now you are dehydrated and sick and burning through your reserves. There are a tiny number of exceptions known to people who have studied a specific region for years, and even those are marginal at best. For everyone else, the cactus is not a canteen. It is a trap that looks like salvation, and reaching for it can cost you the very fluids you were trying to save. Number 21. A solar still will keep your family hydrated. It shows up in every survival manual. Dig a hole, put a container in the center, cover it with plastic, way down the middle with a stone, and let the sun pull clean water out of the ground and the air. It is elegant, it is clever, and it will not keep a single adult alive. Real-world testing, including work done by the military, found that a solar still produces at best about a liter of water in a full day, and often far less, sometimes nothing. Meanwhile, digging that hole in the heat cost you more water and sweat than the still will ever give back. You are running at a loss before the first drop condenses. The people who romanticize the solar still have almost never depended on one. In a genuine emergency, that plastic sheet is far more valuable as a rain catch, a shade cover, or a way to line a container. The still is a science fair project pretending to be a survival strategy, and betting your family's lives on a liter a day is how families do not make it. Number 20. A stiff drink will warm you up when it is cold. This myth has killed people for centuries, and it kills them because it feels true. You take a shot, warmth spreads through your chest, your cheeks flush, and you feel invincible against the cold. That warmth is a lie your nerves are telling you. Alcohol dilates the blood vessels near your skin, which is exactly why you feel warm. It rushes your heated blood to the surface, where the cold strips the heat away and dumps it into the air. Your core, the part that actually keeps you alive, gets colder, not warmer. Worse, alcohol suppresses shivering, which is your body's built-in furnace, and it clouds the judgment you need to make good decisions when your life depends on them. When the heat is out and the temperature is dropping, the bottle is one of the most dangerous things in the house. People have wandered into the snow feeling toasty and never come back. Warmth you can feel is not the same as warmth that keeps you alive. Number 19. If you run out of water, just eat snow. The logic seems airtight. You are surrounded by frozen water, you are thirsty, so you scoop up a handful and eat. In a survival scenario, this is one of the quiet killers, because it feels like the solution while it is causing the problem. Snow is mostly air, so a mouthful gives you almost no actual water. But that snow is well below freezing, and your body has to spend precious heat and energy turning it back into liquid inside you. You are burning your core temperature to hydrate, which is the exact opposite of what a cold survival situation demands. Eating snow can drop your body temperature enough to tip you toward hypothermia, and it can chill and injure the tissues in your mouth and throat. The fix is not complicated. Melt the snow first over a fire, on a stove, even against your body in a container held inside your jacket. Then drink it as water. Snow is a water source. Snow is never a drink. Number 18. If your fingers are frostbitten, rub them with snow to warm them up. This is folk wisdom that circulates through cold weather communities, and it is exactly backward. Someone comes in from the cold with waxy white fingers, and a well-meaning person grabs snow or starts vigorously rubbing the hand to get the blood flowing. Frost-bitten tissue is full of tiny ice crystals. Rubbing that tissue drags those crystals through the cells like broken glass, shredding them, turning a recoverable injury into permanent damage and lost fingers. And rubbing it with snow just refreezes what little you manage to warm. The correct approach is slow, gentle rewarming in water that is warm to the touch but not hot, around body temperature, roughly 100 degrees, and never near open flame, because frostbitten skin is numb and burns easily. And there is a brutal catch. You never rewarm a frostbitten limb if there is any chance it will freeze again, because a second freeze after thawing destroys tissue far worse than staying frozen. In a grid-down winter, that decision could come down to whether you can keep a room warm. Get it wrong, and the myth costs someone their hands. Number 17. If you meet a bear, play dead. Every American grows up hearing it. Bear, drop, curl up, play dead, and it loses interest. Follow that advice with the wrong bear, and you have offered yourself up as a meal. It depends entirely on the bear, and getting it backward is fatal. With a grizzly or brown bear that charges because you surprised it near cubs or a kill, playing dead can work. You are proving you are not a threat, and it may leave once it feels the danger is gone. But a black bear, the kind most Americans are actually likely to encounter, is different. A black bear that presses an attack, especially one that seems to be stalking you or comes into your camp, is often testing whether you are prey. Playing dead tells that bear the hunt is over and dinner is served. With a black bear, you do the opposite. You get big, you get loud, you fight back with everything you have, aiming for the face and nose. The myth flattens two completely different animals into one piece of advice. And in a world where you cannot dial 911, that mistake does not get a second try. Number 16. Any clothes will do, as long as you are covered. Here is the one taught in classrooms, and it can freeze your child in under an hour. A kid goes out underdressed but bundled. Everyone assumes covered means safe, and then the clothing itself becomes the threat. There is a saying that has been around forever among people who work and play outdoors: cotton kills. Your favorite jeans, your sweatshirt, your standard socks and t-shirts, almost everything in a normal American closet is cotton, and cotton is a death trap in the cold and wet. Cotton soaks up water like a sponge and holds it against your skin, and once it is wet, it loses almost all of its ability to insulate. Wet cotton actually pulls heat out of your body faster than being naked would. A child who sweats, or steps in a puddle, or gets caught in rain in a cotton outfit can slide into hypothermia shockingly fast, even in temperatures that do not feel dangerous. Wool and synthetics keep insulating when they are wet. Cotton gives up. When the heat goes out and you are layering the family up, reaching for the cozy cotton hoodie can be the most dangerous choice in the drawer. Number 15. Finding food is your first priority. When people imagine surviving a disaster, they picture hunting, fishing, foraging, scrounging for the next meal. Food is the star of every survival fantasy, and chasing food first is how people die with a full backpack of the wrong priorities. Survival runs on a hierarchy people call the rule of threes. You can last roughly 3 minutes without air, about 3 hours without shelter in harsh conditions, around 3 days without water, and up to 3 weeks without food. Look at where food sits, dead last. Your body can run for weeks on its own reserves, but it cannot run for a single cold night without shelter, or more than a few days without water. People burn precious energy and daylight foraging for calories while ignoring the exposure and dehydration that will actually kill them first. When the grid goes down, the family that panics about food and forgets about warmth and water is solving the wrong problem. Shelter first, water next. Food is the one thing you can afford to be patient about. Number 14. If a snake bites you, cut the wound and suck out the venom. This is the survival myth that refuses to die, passed down through cowboy movies and camp legends and bad advice from people who have never seen a real snake bite. Someone gets bitten, a companion slashes the wound with a knife and puts their mouth on it, and now you have two problems instead of one. Cutting the wound does not remove meaningful venom, it just creates a second injury that can get infected and bleeds worse because the venom may already be interfering with clotting. Sucking accomplishes almost nothing except potentially poisoning the person doing the sucking. Those little suction kits sold in stores, studies show, they remove a negligible amount and can make tissue damage worse. What actually saves lives is boring. Keep the person calm and still, because panic and movement spread venom faster. Keep the bite below the level of the heart. Remove rings and tight clothing before swelling starts. And get to antivenom as fast as possible. In a grid-down world where the hospital may be far away, the last thing you want is a caretaker making the wound worse because a movie told them to. Number 13. You have to boil water for 20 minutes to make it safe. This myth wastes the two things you cannot afford to waste in an emergency, fuel and time, and it makes people give up on boiling entirely when it seems too hard. The belief is that water needs to boil for 10, 15, 20 minutes to be safe to drink. It does not. By the time water reaches a rolling boil, the temperature has already killed the bacteria, viruses, and parasites that make you sick. The pathogens die well before boiling, and a rolling boil is simply the visible proof that the water got hot enough. 1 minute at a rolling boil is enough at normal elevation, and about 3 minutes if you are high in the mountains, where water boils at a lower temperature. 20 minutes just boils away your water into steam and burns fuel you may desperately need for warmth and cooking. The real danger of this myth is not the wasted minutes. It is that people hear boiling is a huge production, decide it is too much effort, and drink untreated water instead. Boiling is fast, it is simple, and it is the most reliable purification method there is. Number 12. Water purification tablets handle everything. People buy a little bottle of tablets, toss it in the emergency kit, and check the water box off their list forever. It feels like insurance, and it leaves a gap wide enough to make your whole family sick. The common iodine and chlorine tablets are good at killing bacteria and viruses, but there is one organism they struggle badly with, and it is one of the most common causes of waterborne illness in North America. Cryptosporidium. This parasite wraps itself in a tough shell that ordinary chemical tablets often cannot penetrate at normal doses, no matter how long you wait. So you can dutifully treat your water, wait the recommended time, drink it, and still end up violently ill from a bug the tablets never touched. If you are relying on chemical treatment, you either need a filter rated to physically strain out those parasites, or you need to boil, or you need one of the specific chlorine dioxide products with a long enough contact time. The tablets are a useful layer. Treating them as complete protection is how a prepared-looking family still ends up dehydrated and sick when help is not coming. Number 11. A big fire will keep predators away all night. It is one of the most comforting images in survival lore, the lone campfire blazing in the dark, holding the wilderness and everything in it at bay, and it convinces people to spend their energy on the wrong defense while giving them a false sense of security. Fire does not reliably repel predators. Many animals are curious about it. Some are drawn to the light and the smell of cooking, and a fire that has burned down to coals at 3 in the morning when you have finally fallen asleep does nothing at all. Meanwhile, you have spent exhausting hours gathering enough wood to keep a bonfire going, wood you could have used more wisely, and the light has destroyed your night vision and announced your exact location to any person who means you harm. Fire is precious for warmth, for boiling water, for cooking, for morale. But as a force field against the dark, it is theater. The real protection is smart food storage, away from where you sleep, a defensible position, and awareness, not a wall of flame you cannot sustain. First pattern break. Here is where things get uncomfortable. Notice what every myth so far has in common. Not one of them is stupid. Every single one feels like common sense. Suck out the venom, warm up with a drink, eat the snow, play dead. These beliefs survive for generations precisely because they sound right, and because most people who repeat them will never be in the situation that tests them. That is the real danger of the grid going down. It is not that you will face problems you have never heard of. It is that you will confidently do the thing everyone knows to do at the exact moment when everyone is wrong. Survival is not about knowing more folk wisdom than the next person. It is about unlearning the comfortable lies before your life depends on the truth. And the myths that come next are not the ones told around campfires. They are the ones sold to you, the ones that cost money, the ones that a whole industry has an interest in you believing. Number 10. If you get lost, keep moving until you find help. Every instinct screams to keep going. Standing still feels like giving up, and moving feels like progress. In the majority of lost person cases, moving is what turns a rescue into a recovery. When someone realizes they are lost, panic sets in, and the panicked brain does the worst possible thing. It keeps walking, often in circles, often downhill, into dense terrain, moving away from the trail and the search area, burning energy and daylight and water, leaving no consistent trail to follow. Search and rescue teams build their entire strategy around your last known location. Every mile you wander makes their circle bigger and your odds worse. Unless you are in immediate danger where you are, the advice that saves lives is the hardest one to follow. Stop, stay put, make yourself visible and findable. Signal, 3 of anything is the universal call for help, and conserve your resources. The people who survive being lost are usually not the ones who covered the most ground. They are the ones who had the discipline to sit still and let themselves be found. Number 9. When disaster hits, head for the wilderness. The bug-out fantasy is powerful. The moment things fall apart, you grab the pack, load the family, and disappear into the mountains to live off the land, away from the chaos. For the overwhelming majority of people, running to the woods is far more dangerous than staying home. Your home has shelter, stored water, food, medicine, tools, familiar surroundings, and neighbors. The wilderness has exposure, unknown terrain, no supplies, and 1,000 ways to get hurt with no help coming. Living off the land is a skill that takes years to build, and people who try it cold, under stress, with scared kids, tend to discover very quickly that nature is not a refuge, it is indifferent. The vast majority of real emergencies, blackouts, storms, supply disruptions, are survived by sheltering in place, staying warm, staying fed, and staying put until order returns. There are rare situations where you truly must leave. A fire, a flood, a chemical spill, and for those you need a plan and a destination. But defaulting to the wild because it feels rugged and free is trading a survivable situation for a deadly one. Number 8. A gun is the most important thing you can own. In the prepping world, this belief runs deep. Stack the ammunition, buy the hardware, and you are ready for anything. And a person with an arsenal and no water plan is not prepared. They are a well-armed statistic. A firearm does not purify a single drop of water. It does not keep you warm. It does not treat an infection. It does not feed you for more than the brief window that game and ammunition last. And it cannot be eaten. The threats that actually kill people when the grid goes down are almost never the ones a gun solves. Dehydration, hypothermia, contaminated water, untreated wounds, carbon monoxide, and chronic conditions that run out of medication. Those are the killers, and they arrive silently, days before anyone shows up at your door. Security has its place in a serious plan, but it is one layer among many, and it is nowhere near the first. The person who spends everything on firearms and nothing on water storage, warmth, medicine, and food has confused the movie version of survival with the real one. The real one is far more boring and far more about logistics than it is about standoffs. Number 7. Stockpile food and you are set. Walk into any prepper's garage and you will often find shelves of canned goods, buckets of rice and beans, enough calories to last months. It looks like the picture of readiness, and it can be missing the one thing that matters most: Water. A person can survive weeks without food, 3 days without water, and you are in serious trouble. Yet water is heavy, bulky, and boring, so it is the thing people skimp on, while the food shelves grow. Worse, much of that stored food, the rice, the beans, the dehydrated meals, requires water to prepare. So a food stockpile without a water plan can actually accelerate your dehydration. The math is unforgiving. You need roughly a gallon of water per person per day for drinking and basic hygiene, and in a grid-down scenario, the taps may run dry or the water may become unsafe. Storing water, knowing how to purify more, and having the means to do it are more urgent than any pantry. Food is comfort and endurance. Water is life measured in days. A wall of canned goods is only half a plan, and it is not the important half. Number 6. Light candles and turn on the gas stove for heat. When the power dies and the house goes cold, this feels resourceful. It is one of the deadliest mistakes in a blackout, and it kills quietly. Burning anything indoors, a gas stove, a grill, a camp stove, produces carbon monoxide, an odorless gas you cannot see, smell, or taste. It builds up in a closed house and kills you in your sleep, often whole families at once. Every year, blackouts are followed by a wave of these deaths. The safe way to hold heat is to trap it, not generate it. Close off one room, block drafts, layer up in wool, share body heat, pile on blankets, and keep a battery-powered carbon monoxide detector in your kit, because this killer gives no warning. Number 5. If the water runs out, drink your own urine. Survival shows glamorize this until people believe it is a clever last resort. Medically, it makes a dire situation worse. Urine is how your body flushes out concentrated salt and waste. Drinking it puts all of that back into a struggling body, and the salt pulls even more water from your tissues, deepening the dehydration you were trying to fix. The more dehydrated you are, the more toxic it gets, so it fails you exactly when you need it most. Doctors are clear that it does not work and can hasten kidney damage. Spend that effort finding real water and purifying it. The myth sounds tough and resourceful. It is a shortcut to organ failure. Number 4. Stockpile antibiotics, and you can treat any infection yourself. This one is preached across survival channels, and doctors warn it can kill you faster than doing nothing. The reality is a minefield. The wrong drug does nothing while the infection spreads. A wrong dose can poison you or breed resistant bacteria. Many people are allergic without knowing it, and a severe reaction with no hospital is its own emergency. Unregulated fish antibiotics may be the wrong strength or contaminated, and self-treating can mask something serious until it is too late. Infection is a real grid-down threat, which is why the answer is prevention and proper wound care, keeping cuts clean and knowing basic first aid, not a shoebox of mystery pills and false confidence. Number 3, a generator will keep your family safe. When the power fails, the generator feels like the hero. And every year, it is one of the leading killers in a blackout because it feels safe. It pours out carbon monoxide, and people run them in garages, basements, or right up against a window, and the gas seeps in. It has killed entire families who went to bed grateful for power and never woke up. A generator is only safe run well away from the house, at least 20 feet, exhaust pointed away from every door and window, never enclosed, never near where you sleep, and backed up with a carbon monoxide detector. Handled right, it is an asset. Tucked close and out of the weather, the way instinct says, it fills your home with poison. Number 2, you can shelter in place indefinitely and just wait it out. This is the myth of normalcy. The power goes out, the family hunkers down and assumes it will click back on by morning like it always has. So nobody rations, nobody thinks about the medicine running low, nobody notices the water pressure fading until the taps sputter. Sheltering in place is usually the right call, but doing it without a plan is just delaying a crisis and calling it patience. A real plan means knowing how much water you have, how to purify more, 2 weeks of any critical medication, food that needs no refrigeration, safe warmth, and the point where staying becomes more dangerous than leaving. The families who struggle most in a long outage are the ones who assumed it would be over by morning. Every myth on this list shares one root. They all let you skip the hard part, promising that instinct or a gadget will carry you through so you never have to prepare. That is exactly why the last myth is the deadliest. Number 1. When it really happens, you will rise to the occasion. This is the belief underneath every other belief on this list, the assumption that something inside you will switch on and you will become calm and capable and simply figure it out. It is the most dangerous myth a person can hold because it makes preparation feel optional. The truth, documented in disaster after disaster, is that most people do not rise. They freeze under extreme stress. The thinking brain goes quiet, and people default to whatever they have actually practiced. If you have never filtered water, you will fumble it. If your family has never talked about where to meet, they will scatter. You do not rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your preparation. The real survivors are almost never the strongest. They are the ones who did the boring work ahead of time and unlearned these myths before the lights went out. Here is my challenge. Pick one myth you believed until today and fix it this week. Store the water. Buy the detector. Talk to your family about where to meet. Just one. Because the difference between a myth and the truth is not knowledge. It is what you do before you ever need it.